शाहनवाज, एक चीज हम आपसे भी पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि ये जो आरपीएल है कितना बढ़िया एक्सपोजर है फॉर द इंडियन प्लेयर्स, क्योंकि देखिए रग्बी सेवेंस जो है अब नहीं तो 11 साल बाद ओलंपिक्स के लिए, खासकर अगर इंडिया होस्ट करे, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेटफॉर्म है ये रग्बी सेवेंस के लिए। आने वाले कुछ एडिशंस, ये पहला एडिशन, उसके बाद आने वाले एडिशंस कितना इंपॉर्टेंट होगा रग्बी के पॉपुलैरिटी के लिए, रग्बी सेवेंस खासकर।
पहले तो अगर हम इनसे अगर डायरेक्टली खेलने जाते तो हमें बहुत सारे स्टेजेस पार करने पड़ते, AFC सेवेंस, डिवीजन 3, 2, 1, फिर जाके इनके साथ हमें खेलने का मौका मिलता है। लेकिन आरपीएल के थ्रू डायरेक्ट हम इनके साथ खेल रहे हैं, इनकी मेंटालिटी, इनकी गेम से डायरेक्टली हम ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं। तो जो हम इनसे अभी सीखे हैं, जो भी ऑब्जर्व किए हैं, वो हम अपने क्लब, अपने इंडियन टीम में हम वो से मतलब सबको बोलेंगे कि ऐसा ऐसा माहौल है, ऐसा चीज़ है। तो आने वाले समय में बहुत अच्छा रहेगा।
TK, I would just want to add an O in it. It was a TKO performance when you look at it in the final. But honestly, when did you feel that, okay, today I'm just going to decimate the opponent? Was it the first try? Was it the second try? Because the speed, I thought when I checked the grass, I thought there would be scorched marks in there. The tackling did help, but the defense was also absolutely wonderful, and that it gave you the confidence to just go all out.
I think so, definitely. I think we probably took the sting out of their attack by how good our defence was, and then it meant when we got the ball, they were probably pretty tired, and we could put the foot down and we were a little bit fresher. So I think we spoke about that. Attack kind of wins games, but defence wins tournaments, and I think in the semi-final and final, our defence really stood strong and was the best it's been over the whole tournament, and then it allowed our attack to flourish.
A number 10 jersey doing well in a final. Where have we heard that before in any sport? So you continue the proud tradition indeed. And coach, in the first edition of this Rugby Premier League, what is the lesson that you will give India? Because India also has players who are very strong. They have got the skill. But somewhere we always lag behind, because the Irish, if you look at the Australians, the Kiwis, the Fijians, they are way ahead of the curve. So what is the lesson that you would want to give India after this first edition when it's over?
I don't think it's much a lesson, as they've created something special here, and the exposure it's given rugby in India. I'm yet to hear about it, but I know it's far-reaching, which is fantastic, and that's what the whole idea was. But they need to harness this now, and whilst strike whilst the iron's hot, get the word out, get young people playing. We've been here throwing balls in the crowd. It'd be lovely to just go around the streets and see those balls being thrown. A bit like the way they play cricket in the street. Let's see rugby balls being thrown, and I think that's where it starts. It starts in the backyard with kids just having fun, and then it starts to get more important as you start to get into the high performance. But the lesson is, let's keep it going, and I think rugby is going to be a big game here on the map in India. It's exciting.
शाहनवाज, इस बात से आप सहमत हैं कि अभी आरपीएल के बाद क्या आपका प्लान है, और इंडिया में ये पॉपुलैरिटी को जो भी थोड़ा सा एक मोमेंटम अभी स्टार्ट हुआ है, वो आप कैसे बरकरार रखना चाहते हो आगे चलकर?
अभी तो फिलहाल आरपीएल के बाद हम लोग का इंडियन कैंप भी शुरू होगा, तो उसके लिए भी थोड़ा सा एक हफ्ता ब्रेक लेके फिर वो स्टार्ट करेंगे हम लोग। आरपीएल के वजह से ये है कि जो भी जूनियर्स हैं, जो हमारे टीममेट्स हैं, उनको एक होप मिलेगा कि हाँ, हमें भी इधर जाके खेलने का, इधर हम भी खेल सकते हैं। अगर हम कर सकते हैं तो हमारे जूनियर, हमारे टीममेट्स भी कर सकते हैं। तो जो भी प्रैक्टिस वगैरह थोड़ा निगलेक्ट होता था, लेकिन वो लोग अभी और मोटिवेट होंगे, क्योंकि आरपीएल की वजह से अभी रग्बी हर घर में भी सब लोग जानने लगे हैं कि हाँ, रग्बी भी ऐसा गेम है और इंडिया वाले पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, इतना अच्छा खेलते हैं। तो आरपीएल की वजह से पॉपुलैरिटी तो बहुत बढ़ेगी।
My question is to the coach. So you had a comfortable lead during the break. So what was your team talk to the team during the break? Since it's possible to you can get carried away after taking such a strong lead.
Yeah, at half time we had a good lead, but we know in sevens that can change very quickly. And if we can score 24 points in 2 quarters, they can go and do the same thing. So it was about reset, really. We spoke about, let's just go back to 0-0, and we play every quarter that way, and we win every quarter was the focus for the team. And credit to the players, they took it on board and they did. And I think we talk a lot about the scoring, but the fact that there was no try scored against is a real mark of the way these players approached.
So like the first season is done and dusted. So how do you see the competitiveness of the tournament evolving like going forward?
Yeah, I mean this year the competitiveness was unbelievable. I think all 6 teams were really good on their day, and there were some really close matches. We had a ton of really close matches, and I think we had our probably 2 biggest wins or 3 biggest wins at the end of the tournament. But I think it's probably going to grow over time, and teams will probably develop that cohesiveness quicker because they'll have this year to reflect on and what did we learn and how do we accelerate it. So I think the competitiveness and the quality is only going to go up over the years.
Terry, for every tournament that you play, so I think this is the first time that you're playing in India.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that you will take back home from this country and from RPL?
I loved what was different about this for me was embracing and experiencing all the different cultures and characters within our team, how different people were, but how much we embraced each other for everyone's individuality and the personality traits that they bring. Also, you have the culture, the religious, the language barriers, but rugby bringing us all together. We spoke and Ben drove it about having that inner pool, that connection the whole way through, and I think that's something, the friendships and connections that we've made will stand with me.
Coach, first of all, congratulations for the title. You led team successfully in the inaugural season. What has been your observation of the skill level of Indian players so far, and what did you like and what would you like them to improve in coming future?
I think on the whole I was impressed with the locals, with the local Indian boys, and so much so with the way that our players in our team stood up in that final was fantastic. But across the board, over the last 2 weeks, the level of the Indian players has been really high. And this coming into this tournament, we knew that it would be a very important piece in this puzzle for all the teams. But I think moving forward, this has been a great exposure to these players about high-level rugby. And there's no better way to expose them than what we've just seen out here, rubbing shoulders with some of the best players in the world. And they've got that experience now. They need to harness that experience and go and take it away, share it, and continue to build and develop. And I think one of the biggest changes we'll see next year is a step up in the level of the local boys, which is add that then to the international players. As TK said, is going to be a good recipe for success next year.
We'll take one final question.
Coach, so at the beginning of the tournament, before the draft had happened, Rahul Bose, the president of the Rugby Federation in India, he mentioned something about rugby players world over being the least paid elite sports persons. At a time like that, and then you see corporate partnerships coming into the sport, and in a place like India where rugby is not as big as, say, the top sport in the country, how important is this kind of corporate partnership, and what do you think, what would you like to say to the organizers, the corporates, and others who might invest into a sport like rugby, especially in India? What would be your message?
Well, I think firstly to Rahul Bose, to Rugby India, to GMR, the whole IPL, I credit them in terms of the vision they had and how it's played out over the last 2 weeks. I think it's been absolutely fantastic. And I think for the sport, it's huge. I mean, I've been involved in sevens for a very long time myself. I was involved in the high level of 15s. You have these types of opportunities in 15s. I think this is sevens. It's always been seen as the IPL of rugby, and I think this opportunity for these players who go and ply their trade, go to Olympics, the opportunity to earn well in the sport they do is fantastic. So for the corporates, I think this is a great opportunity for them to get on board. And I think you could also harness the values of rugby that it brings, you know, the camaraderie, the integrity, the bringing together as we've had of this group of different players from all over the world. And I think with that, they've got something that they can really be a part of that they'll really love and enjoy, and it'll help their corporate place as well. So, you know, I hope this grows and grows, and look forward to seeing it in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.